Welcome with Untitled TV with the Sony Xperia L smartphone, which is one of the cheapest smartphones in the range of Sony's lineup of Xperia series, but maybe one of the most compact and perfectly built smartphones in terms of you can do with it anything that you can do also with a little bit more expensive smartphone, but we only have an 8 megapixel camera inside and the back. There's also front camera, we have NFC, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, 4.3 inch screen, and actually there is nothing missing inside the phone, maybe a bigger battery, but we have this nice little form factor that you can see here. This arc design looks quite nice, and Sony has used this actually before, so this is one of the key selling points of the Sony Xperia L. It's the nice shape, and we also have a status LED here on the bottom behind this metal thingy that's blinking sometime in different colors, which we will check out also later if there is a message coming in. Otherwise we have here volume rocker, the camera button here, which is quite nice, also on and off switch, volume control. There is the 8 megapixel camera with flash, also on the other side micro USB for charging, of course, can't miss that, headphone and of course headset port, and on the bottom we have nothing except for, of course, here on the front there is this microphone also, and on the top here also microphone for conference calls, or if you shoot a video, usually the recording will happen from the front, not from behind. So NFC is under the cover. You can take off the cover and put inside the battery. When you first will buy your phone, then you have to insert the battery yourself, and right here under the standard SIM card, this is not a micro SIM, a standard SIM, you have to insert your micro SD if you have one, but I recommend buying one since this has only 8 gigs of internal memory, from which are about 5.5 accessible. The rest is not accessible since there's of course Android also installed, and actually Android Jelly Bean, which is quite nice since it's fast, and there will be maybe also Android 4.3 update come out soon. 4.1 is actually what we have on site this one, so no 4.2.2, and that we have actually right now as the latest software for most devices. You can see here on the back cover, this is the NFC chip, and this connects right here on top. So to put it back together, you just have to put these things here together, and then we could use it right away with the 1700 milliamp battery that's actually in the back, and I think it was 6.3 watt hours that we have if you convert it. So inside the device we have a 4.3 inch screen, I already mentioned that, with a 840 x 484 pixel resolution or something like that, I think. So not an HD screen, but it's totally fine. You will see in a second how it looks like. We have a dual core 1 GHz processor, 8 megapixel camera, already mentioned, also front camera, which is capable to shoot quite good videos for Skyping, and we see Exmor camera inside, and the main reason I'm showing you the back is that we have also white and red as colors available, which look also quite good. So if you turn on the device, we can just swipe here up. We have the standard Bravia engine here installed by Sony, which means that it's Android running, but with some special icons, for example, and special menus that are by Sony. For example, on top here you can right away regulate your sound, Bluetooth, also Wi-Fi data connection, and you can here go right away to the settings, which is quite nice, so you can regulate your display brightness, for example. But what you can also do is get this widget here where we have actually even more options for backlight, for example, and there's also auto correction of the backlight possible, so you don't even have to do that. NFC is also turned on right now since it actually doesn't need almost any power. So you can see that we have programs like Chrome pre-installed, YouTube, and all kinds of Google programs, also separate email app by Sony. On the next side we have Maps, FM radio, for example, quite important for me, Google Plus, Messenger, standard Google search. On the next side we have here some other things also that you can see that you would use every day, like for example Talk. We still have to update to Hangouts, but what I like the best about Sony, we have some new apps installed. For example, the Smart Connect app, which is quite interesting, since when you open it up you will actually see here devices. So you can select, if you connect a charger, a headphone or a headset, what should happen. Here on events we have already some presets. For example, a charger, when it's connected between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. in the morning, there should, let's just go in here, the application alarm and clock start, so you can set your alarm right away if you want, and the sound mode will go here to silent. Also at the end, when the power cable is unplugged, the sound mode goes back regular to normal. And you can of course say add action, and we could say it should start playing a song, for example, when the charger is disconnected. The volume should also be preset, but the post on timeline should be posted, hey guys, I woke up. It can send a text message right away when somebody disconnects your phone, like your, I don't know, maybe your brother or anybody else is disconnecting your phone while you're not at home and it's charging. It could just send a text message, or it can even read out text messages out loud. So there's quite a few options here. What I would wish though is that we would have more devices here in the list and settings, so we can add, for example, when I'm coming home and my GPS is turned on and the device knows that I'm at home, since it can see it on GPS, then something like this should happen. Not only when I connect the headset, that it should, for example, start playing the music, and when I disconnect my headphones, that it should stop playing the music. But maybe something like that will happen in the future soon. This is just the first steps of Sony. Motorola has had this for quite some while now. So we have also a program called Xperia Link, which is for connecting your tablet, for example, to your smartphone, as you can see here, and then you can exchange information directly. It's a little bit faster than via Bluetooth, for example, of course. And what's also great is that we have Track ID installed, which is actually just a program like Shazam. So I have, for example, music here on my iPhone that I could just play right now. Hit the button here. So if you're in a club, you can just really use this one, and it will tell you right away, okay, this was the song. You can download it, share it, or search on YouTube. Download means, of course, you can buy it at Sony. I think that's what will happen. Yeah, it's 7 digital, and otherwise you have also here artist info. But if you would just want to have a nice little list of the songs you had or you have been listening to before, here I did the same song twice now, as you can see in the list. But also we have the complete charts of your country. It says charts Germany here, since we're in Germany, and so this is also quite nice, the top 10 always on your smartphone, so you can also just maybe even listen to it on YouTube. I think no problem at all. Except for in Germany it's not that easy, but just by pressing it, of course, you cannot really do anything like that. But you can see, of course, also what different songs we have by this artist, and you can also go here and say you like it, and you can post it on Facebook then right away. So these are just some apps by Sony that are pre-installed and are quite handy. We can also check out some pictures I shot with the camera. Now with the Bravia engine we have here this nice little interface where I can look at the album like this. So I can make it really small to have all kinds of pictures here from different dates. You can see July to August, and December 1997 would mean that I didn't set up the date right there. So if I want to just see a little bit closer everything you can see, I can just really pinch and zoom to see all kinds of pictures. And this is all happening with a dual-core 1.2 gigahertz, 1 gigahertz processor. And what I even see is you can really twist that picture also. This is actually quite cool. I haven't seen this one before by Sony, that you could do this. And actually, the smartphone died while almost died while I did this. So just zoom out a little bit, and let's see if I can find a normal picture that I shot with the 8 megapixel camera. You can see that the colors look quite good. And also on the bottom, as you will be able to see before, if you switch from picture to picture, you have here the LED actually glowing here in the color on the bottom. That is the main color in the picture, which is of course quite a cool feature. And yeah, green for example, but it's quite hard to see now since we are outdoors, and it's not glowing of course all the time, just for a short while while you flip through your pictures. And especially here you can really just zoom in and see all the details. It looks quite good. It's of course not Xperia Z with 30 megapixel, but with 8 megapixel you can also do a lot. And also when I just check out here video footage, 720p is the maximum you can record. It looks also quite good, and the colors are also not oversaturated or anything like that. It's a really good camera. What I found out though is when you look at footage, or you take footage that is low light, for example in a club, I tried to take this video here, it's kind of getting slow. I don't know why, but it's just kind of slow motion. The sound is kind of weird, and of course the data rate is also quite low, but low light would be good since you can see quite a lot. In the picture you can see that in most other devices I found. So this is actually would be a good camera, but maybe an update will help here with the low light, or I just have to update the phone myself since this is maybe just not the latest software right now. But otherwise you can really rely on the device, since there is also flash inside. If you take a picture in the dark, that's also actually totally fine to use in everyday mode. So what I also like about the phone is you can write text messages or write actually anything quite easily, since if you go here into write, you have your regular Xperia experience, which means that it's fast for typing. You can just delete of course everything because it doesn't make sense what I wrote here. But what's actually more interesting and what I love, and it's not called swipe here by Sony, and all kinds of other companies have this now also, just move your finger around the screen or around the letters to write words. For example, I can just write Xperia, that works right away, or I can write things like Washington, like that, and you can see it's quite fast. And what I love actually about this even more than because the competitors don't have that, not Samsung, not HTC. If I write a word like for example Google, and I think I don't like it, just have to hit delete once and it deletes the whole word. But if you like the word, you just misspelled, you can just type here in the middle, and then you can say, okay, I want to write that with one O or an A or anything like that. So you don't have to really hit everything separately on delete. If you have a really long word that you wrote and you don't like it, you can just really delete it with one hit of a button. That's what I actually like about Sony. You have of course always here a lot of words that it's suggesting you, maybe you wrote something wrong, and you can switch between languages. You can see I have 3 languages here, but you can set an unlimited amount of course of languages, as many as you have in the phone, and as usual with Android you have quite a bit of languages. So you can see I can also just easily close some apps. We only have 1 gig of RAM, but that's totally enough, as you can see, for all kinds of things that are running here. And what I haven't even started actually yet is the Minion Rush, my new game for testing devices. And while that is loading up, I will show you a little bit of comparison to the Sony Xperia SP, which is the counterpart, the little bit more expensive phone by Sony. This is $250 right now, and this is $350. Has a bigger battery, not an interchangeable battery I even think, or is it interchangeable? I'm not sure, I haven't tested it yet. No, it's not interchangeable, you can see it here in the back, but it has a little bit of a different design. It's heavier and it's metal all around. This is more of a plastic phone. Here the Xperia L, but that means that it's also lighter. And if you check out the thickness, yeah, it's also quite nice and slim. I will also compare it of course with the Apple iPhone 5 in just a sec. Let me just hit play here and play this nice little 3D game with amazing graphics, I think, and on any device I have tried it till now, the graphics are really good. Hi there. So you can see no lags or anything happening here. Works perfectly. Can't say anything bad about it, and let's just die. And let's go out again here to the main menu, where we can just go around here to show you that it's really fast. And we actually have also the dedicated camera button. I think I already showed you before, so I can just hit that to open up the camera, and then we can right away point and shoot. And you can see also the display has a nice viewing angle, the colors are not changing or anything like that, so this is quite good. And what we can also do now is compare it with the Apple iPhone 5, as I said, so you just have a feeling of the size. So 4 inches to 4.3 means that it's not much higher, closing it up like that, or from the side looking, you can see also in the middle it's about the same thickness. On the top and bottom it's a little bit thicker, but it still lies quite good in your hand. And maybe to also a little bit more expensive phone, HTC One Mini compared, you can see that these both 4.3-inch devices have also here a little bit of a size difference. The HTC is higher, but also maybe a little bit slimmer. But of course this costs $450, this only $250 right now. So my verdict for the Sony Xperia is good phone. I can give totally a buy recommendation for under 200, even more. But if you have a little bit more money, you should definitely get the SP, since the camera is better. It feels heavier, so it's sturdier, and the LEDs on the bottom are actually also a lot nicer, and I think the device is just really a little bit more handy, and with 4.6 inches it's also a little bit more fun to use, and you can see that the size is actually not much bigger. So till next time, please send in again. Thank you much for watching here with Untitled TV. This was the Sony Xperia L in a full review. Till next time, please send in again, and thank you much for watching.